The U.S. military mission in Afghanistan will conclude August 31, President Joe Biden said Thursday. The drawdown is proceeding in a secure and orderly way, prioritizing the safety of our troops as they depart, Biden said at a news conference. White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki said earlier that the war in Afghanistan has not been won militarily by any party as the U.S. withdrawal continues. "We're not going to have a mission accomplished moment in Afghanistan," she added. The president said, "For further details please like our video and subscribe our channel." The president said it is highly unlikely a unified government will control Afghanistan after the US pullout, as he pushed for a deal with the Taliban. Asked if the 20-year was worth it for the US to be militarily present there, Biden said he was opposed to permanently having American forces in Afghanistan, and no nation has been unified on Afghanistan. He said the US was in Afghanistan for two reasons: to take down al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden and eliminate the group's ability to attack the US. "We've accomplished both of these objectives. Period," said Biden. US Central Command, CENTCOM, said Tuesday that the process to withdraw American forces from Afghanistan by September is more than 90% complete. "The $1 trillion has been spent training and equipping hundreds of thousands of Afghan forces," he said, and a total of 2,448 Americans were killed and 20,722 more wounded during the US's longest war. "I will not send another generation of Americans to war in Afghanistan," he said. When asked if he trusted the Taliban, he said, "No," and added that their takeover of Afghanistan is not inevitable after US forces pull out. "I trust the capacity of the Afghan military, who is better trained, better equipped and more competent in terms of conducting war." Spokeswoman Jen Psaki was asked at a news conference if President Joe Biden had plans to mark the full pullout when it is completed. She said Biden might speak on Afghanistan in the future in terms of plans for the end. "We are proud of the men and women who have served, incredibly grateful. The president will note that in his remarks," she added. The US left Afghanistan's Bagram airfield after nearly 20 years by shutting off the electricity and slipping away in the night without notifying the base's new Afghan commander, who discovered the Americans' departure more than 2 hours after they left, Afghan military officials said. Afghanistan's army showed off the sprawling airbase on Monday, providing a rare first glimpse of what had been the epicenter of America's war to unseat the Taliban and hunt down the al-Qaeda perpetrators of the 9/11's attacks on America. "We heard some rumors that the Americans had left Bagram, and finally by 7 o'clock in the morning, we understood that it was confirmed that they had already left Bagram," General Asadullah Kohistani, Bagram's new commander, said. US military spokesman Colonel Sonny Leggett did not address the specific complaints of many Afghan soldiers who inherited the abandoned airfield, instead referring to a statement last week. The statement said the handover of the many bases had been in the process soon after President Joe Biden's mid-April announcement that America was withdrawing the last of its forces. Leggett said in the statement that they had coordinated their departures with Afghanistan's leaders. Before the Afghan army could take control of the airfield, about an hour's drive from the Afghan capital Kabul, it was invaded by a small army of looters who ransacked barrack after barrack and rummaged through giant storage tents before being evicted, according to Afghan military officials. "At first we thought maybe they were Taliban," said Abdul Rauf, a soldier of 10 years. He said the US called from the Kabul airport and said, "We are here at the airport in Kabul." Kohistani insisted the Afghan National Security and Defense Force could hold on to the heavily fortified base despite a string of Taliban wins on the battlefield. The airfield also includes a prison with about 5,000 prisoners, many of them allegedly Taliban. The Taliban's latest surge comes as the last US and NATO forces pull out of the country. As of last week, most NATO soldiers had already quietly left. The last US soldiers are likely to remain until an agreement to protect the Kabul Hamid Karzai International Airport, which is expected to be done by Turkey, is completed. Meanwhile, in northern Afghanistan, district after district has fallen to the Taliban. In just the last 2 days, hundreds of Afghan soldiers fled across the border into Tajikistan rather than fight the insurgents. "In battle it is sometimes one step forward and some steps back," said Kohistani. He said the Afghan military was changing its strategy to focus on the strategic districts. He insisted they would retake them in the coming days without saying how that would be accomplished.